we're going to be taking a vacation on this date. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing this. And everybody's rushing for that next big moment. And it's just like, yo, take it in. You've made it to this point. You've done great, hopefully. And now you just need to take it in and just enjoy it, indulge the moment,
Yeah,
you know?
fortunately and unfortunately, when you work for a tech startup that is trying to, you know, trying to create the next best thing, we'll say it is as much as you want to live in the moment. You got to keep your foot on the gas, right? Everybody, there's a target on us. Everybody is trying to come after us. But again, we also came after everybody when we came out in 2019, right? So just kind of reverse targets. But when I do actually take it in is when I go to these events and I get to meet with our customers or meet with potential prospects, and more or less on the customer side, when I hear of what we provided them, and whether it's the content, whether it's the software, whether it's Copilot, whatever it is, and they're like, this has helped me tremendously. This has given me time back so I can spend more time with family. That's when the hair stands up on the arms and you're like, this is why I do what I do. Because man, we were in that seat. We were running around like madmans, putting out fires, 120 days of summer, not sure what the hell we were, not necessarily what the hell
Hmm.
we were doing, but we were just running around like crazy people. And to have somebody reach out to you at a conference, or checking in line at a hotel, and they're like, hey, that's a super move guy. Like, that's what it, like, you're like, yeah, I'm making some waves here, like, and I'm having fun doing it. So, but yeah, you do need to breathe. And I do have a little bit of breather in between all my conference travel, taking a guys cruise. Shout out to the guys team that I'm going with here. It's going to be a lot of fun. My first cruise. So
Nice. No, and as you know, like I said, I got into the tech space too, and it's just like it is definitely a different environment, as you mentioned. And we also got to forget not to not hold us ourselves to the pedestal of where everybody else is. Granted, you mentioned 2019. Well, that's about 5 years now, approximately. So if it's 5 years, hey guys, don't forget, you got to start crawling before you can walk. Nobody started from the top day one. So to say, well, damn, I wish I was there. I wish I was making that type of money, and you're only in your first year, it takes time. So just take that second, make sure you start to get your stuff dialed in, because your business is going to be molded to you, not to the next person, where you're like, oh well, hey, I seen John Deere moving, doing it like this, and I can do it like that. No, because John
been around for 50
made that for
years.
him.
you know, you got to have patience. You got to have the foot on the gas as well. I think Tom Brady said it best in his speech here, quite a few months ago. I mean, life is hard, man. Building software is hard. Running a movie
Hmm.
company is hard. Everything is hard, but you got to stay in there and surround yourself with incredible people, because, I'm not doing it by myself. If I didn't have an amazing team, I would not be where I am today. If I didn't surround
Hmm.
myself with amazing people, I would not be here today. Period. I'd probably be still doing the same thing I was doing for 13 years. So it's get uncomfortable, jump outside that box, and find your purpose. But at the
Definitely.
same time, like, it's hard. It is not easy. What you're doing, Dwight, is not easy. And you're doing many things that are
Yeah.
really hard. So
So, but for me, honestly, I'm trying to hone it in, trying to really, as they say, before you like do any podcast, before you do anything, like let's say you are going into a meeting or whatever the case is, one of the biggest tips to relax and not and lower your anxiety level, even if you've been doing podcasts and meetings virtually
I need
for
to
so
hear this.
long, it's clean your desk up, clean your area up, get this space around you, make sure that stuff is organized around you, because if it's organized, your mind is a little more organized. But if it's chaos around your desk, and oh boy, isn't it chaos right now?
I'm not
It
showing you my desk right now, dude. I will tell you right now, from here all the way over, and then it tears up on a shelf, and then it goes down, and I'm over here. It's not chaos. It's a controlled chaos. Let's just put it that way. I
okay.
got like 8 projects I'm working on here. So
And It happens. You know, and I think that's why I have a very long to-do list in my phone, or I take a lot of notes in my phone. Like, I've still got notes probably from 2014, and each note goes so deep. And it's just like people are like, oh wow, but you actually use your notepad, yes, because your brain is always running, your ideas are always shooting out there. And if you forget to, write those things down, you're gonna forget them.
Cool.
Um, so definitely,
There we go.
make sure that you're definitely on top of making sure your space is organized so that your mind is organized.
Hey everybody, my name is Dwight Mack with Max Moving Training. So we're gonna be doing a move and a pack today. But before we go in, there's just 10 basic rules that we just need to know before participating with this service. So number one, understand moving is a very, very stressful thing. The customer, they're uplifting their life from one location to another. They're having to call all these vendors and get all these suppliers in place so that basically they can make that transition. So their stress level is at the highest right now. We need to be a service provider that comes in and basically keep that stress level mitigated or very low. Come in as professionals and do our job the way we know how to do our job so that this customer is less stress during that move process. Number two, be on time. First impression is everything. You guys showing up outside of the window rubs the customer the wrong way. It messes up the rest of the move process. Even if you guys do the best job y'all can do, because one thing was off, this customer's mood is just off. Go up and beyond, be there before the time, as long as they're okay with it.
So see, and that leads me to the next point. So ultimately, guys, don't forget, moving Titans retreat, and I never really promote those guys, but those guys are really good guys overall anyways. So I have nothing bad against them anyway, in any shape or form. But they do have an amazing event coming up, and I believe in October. And just heard the good news that Louis Mazzaro's joining them, which is
Yeah.
fantastic news. Because that man don't never go to no other events. If he's always hosted his own events, so for him to be joining these guys, that is amazing because I know these guys has been loyal to him from the beginning. So it's just like full circle, the teacher teaching the students, and now the student is able to become the teacher and bring their teacher back, So I would say if you guys got a chance, if you are in the industry, you got a chance to go to this event, definitely go to this event, and get these gems that's going to be dropped.
Yeah, and hey, I can actually even offer $500 off a ticket, because obviously, their pricing structure. The closer you get to the event, the more expensive it is because there's just not many seats left. But we did partner with them for that fireside chat yesterday. We had Nick Friedman, J.C. Caldwell, Stephen Reed. We had Wade, Chad Coatney, and even Tommy Mello. We did a really cool fireside chat with all those guys yesterday. It went about an hour and 20 minutes. I had a lot of wonderful questions that were asked, a lot of amazing answers. And yeah, they kind of gave me the ability to basically, if we've got some folks that want to go, on behalf of Supermove, we've got a $500 credit to y'all. So if anybody does want to go, I don't know, do I just give my email over here? Or like I said, if anybody wants to go
Yeah, you
last
can give
minute,
your
shoot.
email.
Yeah, it's Ryan at supermove.com. Ryan at supermove.com. Shoot me a note and I'll send you over the discounted link, and you can get signed up and join us down there. So it's gonna be a good showing is what it's looking like.
Definitely, definitely. So let's not forget though. So come September. So we got these next couple of months is going to be very busy with gym dropping events. We as Ryan just mentioned, they had a round table yesterday, which was phenomenal. September we got the marketing seminar. Ooh, that was a lot. Marketing seminar going on, sponsored by Moving Marketing Blueprint. A new marketing program created just for movers. But we're gonna have, some real good guest speakers like Greg Shepard in the building. We're gonna have, of course, Ryan. He got to be in the building. We're gonna have our Google Ads specialist in the building, and Brian Bloom from Mover Search Marketing in the building as well. So, and probably have a couple more, but ultimately we're going to be really dropping the gems on what you guys can be doing in this off season to get your marketing in shape. So definitely don't miss out on that event. That's going to be September 12th. And yeah, I am sending a link on LinkedIn as well as Facebook. They'll be going out in emails as well. So, definitely tune in. And it's a free event. We'll have open Q&A as well. So you guys can come up, ask whatever questions you can ask to the specialists. And yeah, get this knowledge. So other than that, all these introductions and events going on.
You
What's
just
going on with you?
name drop. I'm just planning for these events, man. It's like I said, my event schedule right now is crazy. So just kind of heads, starting off, I got the Call on Washington, September 10th to the 12th, followed by the New Jersey Association Conference with Tracy and her team. Incredible job. Then we're basically going from there to the Moving Titans Retreat, October 2nd through the 4th. Then we're hitting up IAM out in Vegas the following week, and then coming right back from that, hitting the New York Movers Conference out in Long Island. And then going to try to dip down for the last day of the PMSA conference with Charlie and his team. Love Charlie, great guy. And then literally going from there over to the National Van Lines Convention from the 6th to 8th back to Vegas. And then going from there to the Atlas Convention in Phoenix. And then basically from Phoenix to Toronto for the Canadian Movers Association. Then I get kind of a little break in December before we do a 5-city tour in January, followed by the Illinois Moving Association in February, and then a moving master class in March. So that's making my head spin just thinking about that right now. That's a lot of flights, a lot of miles, and a lot of change of clothes. We'll just say that.
I hear that. Oh man, no, that is amazing. And I'll be right with you next year, my 2025 plan. After I get my pilot license, of course, so I can fly where I need to fly.
Yeah, it'll
But
cost you flying there, boy. I'll tell you. Ooh,
no, it definitely will.
gotta get a
Fuel is
bird
not cheap.
first. Man, you sound like Travis Weathers now from Rotate. Dude be hopping all over the place on his plane.
Well, I did hear that you can't fly but too far because, so my soon-to-be pilot instructor mentioned that if they flew from New York to, like, say, Florida, they would have to probably stop in like North Carolina, South Carolina, whatever the case is, area. And then depending on where you're flying in Florida, you might have to stop in Georgia again, whatever the case is, to fuel up before making that last run. And he said it could take you between the downtime, it could take you like 8 hours just to get there with all the
Yeah.
downtime. And there's like at that point, you might as well fly Frontier or something to get there in like 3 hours.
Might as well hop on Allegiant, 2 hours and 15 minutes, get you to Tampa.
So it was like, but if you're flying like PA or something, or like, South Carolina, okay, great. Make that flight, whatever the case is. But it's not really meant to go too far before you
Yeah.
have to fuel up.
Unless you get a Learjet or something.
Yeah, and then I can only imagine you got to wait in that line to take off because you can't just say, "Oh yeah, well I'm done."
I can just see like the tail number now. It's like moving marketing blueprint on the tail number.
Oh yeah. My goal has always been to have like a private jet, with my brand on it or whatever the case is. I don't know if it'd be Max Moving Training brand because that's expensive marketing, but moving force. I could see that.
That could definitely get you it could get you a plane.
Uh-huh. So, but we still are working on the back end stuff with that whole thing. Apple is being extremely difficult, but we are still pushing forward, hoping to have some better results with that sooner than later. And then, like I said, next year, after I resign from what I'm doing currently, and really be able to focus on the dad life. Can't forget about that,
Right.
as well as really honing everything in because as Ryan mentioned, I do a lot, with bouncing around, having to trying to make sure other owners are still doing what they need to do, as well as making sure my personal life is up to date, making sure the business is up to date, So it's like for me, it's like, okay, you know what? Let's not forget to live. And then the second part after that is, okay, you know what? How can we dial these systems in? Because if you don't, you're going to be running with your head chopped off, and at the end of the day, nothing's going to get done.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, you got car seats to buy before planes.
well, we're having a baby shower in July, which is awesome. Um, and then yeah, so with the baby shower, ultimately at that point in time, I think that'll be the perfect time when we start getting those car seats and getting a nursery
Yeah,
together.
do that
And
little registry thing and just put like the G550 or G650 in that thing or something like that. Maybe somebody will get you a plane.
oh,
You
I
know?
was like, that is that a fancy car seat? It's like Ryan knows these models.
No, man, it's been 14 years since I've had to buy a car seat. So no, I ain't buying any more of them damn things. I'm sure they're expensive as hell now. Nope, we're
It
done.
probably is.
No, I ain't buying no
Yeah, no,
car seats.
everything is expensive. I went to the pizza shop yesterday just to get a slice out in Syracuse, and freaking 425.
Damn.
Yes. I said, just for a slice? Isn't that like two slices and a drink or something? It was
That's how
like,
much it costs to make a sheet pizza.
so I
Really?
was like, geez. I was like, I'll just take one, please. And it was like, oh, is that it? Yes.
If you cut that in thirds, I'll take a third. I just need a little bite. I don't
Now,
need a $4 slice.
now they do that place in Yonkers, being that prices went up now, I could see it that the one slice of pizza, because it's almost like the whole pie, the slice is so big that I think it'll probably be like with pepperoni, I think it was like $25 for that one slice of pizza.
Wow.
But it's huge. It's almost like a whole pie slice cut into a slice.
That's great. Yeah. Now our pizza's pretty expensive here too, though. It's like $3 a slice, I want to say, but still, and they're not big slices. It's all that thin crust, but it's good pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Still $3. Two
Yeah.
slices, drink is like 11 and change. It's crazy.
What?
Yeah, you want to get a side of blue cheese? That's $1.
Yeah, they do charge for that. That is weird. Like, come
Hey,
on.
you know what? I get it, right? They pay 15 cents for the blue cheese. You got to make your money and they can't give it away.
No, that's a
Speaking of
hell of a
costs,
markup.
yeah, speaking of
But
costs, I just talked to a gentleman yesterday and he's going over his hourly rates and things and whatever and his costs. And after we kind of backtracked it, he was actually losing $2 an hour on any move
mm,
over 6 hours. And he was wondering why he was cash strapped.
oh,
Didn't know his
interesting.
cost. Wasn't charging for a truck. Was only charging for the what he pays his guys at $18 an hour. So he thought his cost per hour, for two guys in a truck was $36. No fuel, no depreciation, no risk, no
Mm,
liability, nothing. And he stays busy and he's just like, I don't understand why I've got no cash. Well,
mm. So the question comes down to is how many moving owners actually care about the numbers?
Number three, make sure your team is in uniform, they're groomed, their hygiene is checked, because that's the worst thing you could do, especially going in a house. Customer could smell your guy from a mile away, and now, again, their mood is just thrown off. So make sure that you guys are in uniform, you're tight, you have uniform shirts, that it doesn't look like, you have a laborer that's, hired from off the street. Presentation is everything that goes towards your first impression. Number four, introduce both you and your partner when greeting the customer. Don't just go to the door by yourself, while your driver is unloading the truck and introduce yourself. Actually have both of you there. Introduce yourself first, then introduce your partner second, and then, allow them to welcome you into their home.
They care about making money, but do they care about the numbers? And I bring that up because when I was in business school, I've always loved math. Math was just the easiest of subjects, even if it got to the point where they was talking about stuff that didn't make no sense, like three shape dimensions and stuff like that. Um, and the only reason why I loved it is because the answer has always been the answer. Everything else has been so judgmental, such as like English. When you take English and you write a great paper, one professor might say, "Oh, this is an A," and the other one might say it's a B.
yep.
And at the end of the day, it's just like, how and why? Like, I know my grammar was there. I know that my punctuations and everything else is there. Like, why is it, less than an A? But it's opinionated. where math has never been opinionated. It's just different ways to get to that same answer.
Yep.
So with that being said, when I got to that point of going in business school, they said, hey, you don't need to take business mathematics because it's below your math skill level. Interesting. Even though I still want to take it, but I'm like, okay, if he says it's a waste of time, I won't worry about it. But they do in business mathematics, they talk about markups, markdowns, all the different terminologies that people need to know when they run their movement company on how to make sure that they're being profitable. And I wonder how many movement owners actually really care about that strategy versus just saying that, oh, well, hey, if I bought this box for 99 cents, but I sold it for $1.75, oh snap, I'm making money. But
Are
are
you?
you really? you know, and they're not factoring in everything. And you don't have to factor in everything. You just need to know what to factor in. So like when we sold a box, we sold a small box for like, let's say $6. And the reason why I say $6 is because we sold labor in that box.
Yep.
So we sold labor, we sold our van cost to carry that box. We sold the actual box itself. And then what is it? Labor, the van, and the box. I think that was approximately about it. It was like three things that went into that $6. And that covered our costs. And people are like, oh, why are you throwing your van costs in there? Because basically, where else would you throw your van costs in that metric? And when you're selling packing services, oh well, hey, we got to bring a truck out there, so we're gonna charge you an extra $50, $60. No, because you're not really making the money. Where you're making the money is you're selling it in units.
Yep.
So if you brought 100 boxes and you got your van costs and that 100 boxes, you make a whole lot more than you would have made if you just charged $60 for that van.
Yeah, it's crazy here, and all the conversation I have of how people charge, why they charge, how they got to their price. Some have it really, really dialed in. A lot of them do not have anything dialed in. Hey, I buy a box for 61 cents. I'm selling it for $1. I'm making 40 cents each box. And it's like, well, you're probably losing at that point, but it's interesting. And I'm actually going to come up with a little hourly rate template. Basically like a little calculator where you just input your costs, and based on your gross profit margin, based on your market, your area, what have you, it should tell you roughly where you should be to make some money. Because I'm telling you, it's crazy to sit there and hear people. I'm like, well, where'd you get that rate from? Oh, it's $20 less an hour from the other guy. But are you making
I'll give
money
you,
at that rate? And they're
I'll
like,
give you my sheet,
I don't know.
Ryan.
What's that?
I'll give you my sheet because I got something created just like that already.
Oh, I'd love to
So
see
I'll
it.
give you I'll give you my sheet and you could critique it or so like that. But yeah, no, the sheet is pretty much simple. It's really based off of um their cogs first. So basically, hey, how much do you pay your highest mover? How much do you pay your highest driver? And then when you figure those two metrics out, okay, let's figure out your taxes now. What is your FICA? What is your unemployment for state and federal? And then what is your workers' comp percentage? So with those four metrics, okay, we got a good percentage. So I'll say 18%. So let's just say you're paying your two guys, a total of $40 plus the 18%. We're just going to say round figures. We're going to say it's about $55. And then what else? Oh, your overhead. So now your admin staff, your fixed costs, yeah, your fixed general expenses. Okay, let's just say we throw an extra $10. So now we're at $65. And then sometimes I even throw a material cost in there. I might, and that's optional. That might be like, well, hey, I throw $10 an hour in there for materials like shrink wrap and dollies and stuff like that. That just to put it out there, because you guys always losing tools. So
And pads. Pads
$10.
always get left behind. Guys always leave pads to the customers like, hey, do you mind leaving a couple pads? Well, they don't realize how much those pads cost. So the guys are leaving 6, 7 pads per job to get that potential tip, to keep that customer happy. And the next thing you know, at the end of the week, you're like 100 pads shy. And you're like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
there's $1,000 right there.
So yeah, that $10 an hour, even though it don't look like much in the beginning, but it does. because that's 10 times 10. If they was out there for 100 hours that one day, well, they was out there for 10 hours that one day. That's $100. So anyway, so like, okay, so now we got the four metrics. We are about $65 and at break even. Now we're going to throw your profit margin in there. Now, typically, again, they like to say the moving industry profit margin is between 25 and 35%. Maybe it's a little higher now because of the economy, but let's just say 35%. So now 35% puts you at about 65, 35, let's say $100. That's where you know you're making money because you already covered your break even. You know that you're making about $35 in profit per hour. And yeah, at that point, now you know that you're definitely making money. Now that's just your labor. That's not your truck cost. Your truck cost has its own factors into it, where it's like, hey, cover general expenses like gas, insurance, etc. So now you figure out your truck expense, your truck profit and everything is about $10, $20 an hour. Your break even is about $30 an hour, depending on how many hours at a minimum you operate at. So we're looking at 150.
And
And
don't
you
forget
know at one,
depreciation.
yeah, and you know at 150, you're making about at least $55 in profit every hour. And it may not sound like a lot, but it'll add up to something when it's all said and done. Because at 10 hours, you done made $550 in profit.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's it. Some of these guys, you got to work it backwards sometimes, to just going off what your competitor charges. Again, your rate should not depend to me. I don't care what the competitors, I do care what they charge, but at the end of the day, like they might be able to charge a little bit less because they don't have the overhead. They don't have the staffing. They don't have the size warehouse. They don't have the type of equipment that we do. So it's been interesting having these conversations and basically asking people, what are your true costs per hour to send a 3-person in a truck move out? And they're like, well, I pay my guys $18 an hour. That's 36. My truck's paid for and it's a local move, so I don't charge much for fuel, if anything. So my cost $36 an hour. And I'm just like,
Yeah, I hate when people break it down that way.
that's it's not gonna work. But nice.
So, well, next week I might, depending on my crazy schedule, I might hold a live on Facebook, yeah, where we go over these numbers. And it's the beginning of September, so this is the perfect time to really go over these numbers, anyways. So we'll go over these numbers and making sure that you guys are profitable. And yeah, so I will post it in the Facebook community and let you guys know exactly what day it's going to be or so like that, so that we can make sure that you guys are tuned in, dialed in, and go from there. But we are coming close to the half-hour mark. So, Ryan, did you have anything before we take off?
No, man, I definitely got to jump. I've got a 9:30, which I normally don't schedule anything because of the mornings of movers chats. But yeah, I've got to jump here in the next minute or so. But no, I don't actually have much today. Yesterday was a draining day. Anytime you're trying to run a webinar, share some screens, make sure everybody stays on point, like it just it whooped me pretty good. It whooped me. I'm
Yeah,
tired.
you a good man. I don't do those webinars. I'm like, damn, slide. I'll be one to tell the future slide before before I click on it. I'm like, yeah, about this, I
Just
just
making
gotta.
sure everybody shows up. Is it like, the scheduling the pre-calls, the dry runs, like it's just, and then I got the other one that's coming up, the Moving Revenue Summit on September 18th, which is going to be an awesome one as well. So we dive into a lot of these things.
Is it a virtual?
Yeah, it's a virtual. So we've got Austin Yarborough with Central Coast Moving. He'll be handling kind of some of and what we're doing with this one is just keeping it very plain, very simple, basic. And what can you can take away 4 or 5 things from each 30-minute session and you can implement today for free. There's no catch.
Okay.
There's no buying subscriptions. There's no spending X amount of thousands on marketing. It's, hey, you got a Canva account, you got a Facebook account or an Instagram or LinkedIn. This is what you can do to start driving some pieces. And then we've got the awesome Allison Endicott from Works Moving and Storage, who's going to be going over some KPIs, scorecards, and just some kind of overall sales things. Say, hey, how do you boost your sales team? Create some inner competitiveness, but also having that scorecard and basically get everybody to be top performers and kind of bonus programs, plans, and what have you. And then we got my ex CEO, Bo Roscoe with Nagley Moving. who's going to be jumping on there, going over some crazy operational excellence and efficiency pieces of basically kind of telling the story of how we were, 12 trucks doing X amount of millions of dollars, and we were able to cut our trucks in half. So 12 trucks to 6 trucks and do more millions than we did with 12 trucks. So, oftentimes you hear people say, oh, I want to grow and I want to this, and I got to add more trucks. I got to add more labor. Like, you don't need to do that. Now you can if you want to, but you don't need to. You can work with less trucks, less crews, and blow your year-end numbers out of the water. And we're proof we did that. So I'm really excited to have him drop some nuggets on how he did it. Now, it's not an overnight flick a light switch. It took us a couple years, but great way to, if you want to become more profitable, definitely I tune into this session.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about why, maximum training ain't there either, but we're going to talk.
We can get in there.
All right, y'all. So definitely keep turning up, keep doing your thing. Don't forget to take a second to breathe and realize where you are today and not looking too far ahead in the future. Take that vacation after this crazy couple more days. And yeah, we'll see y'all next Thursday. All right, y'all. Take care.
See y'all later. Ooh.